Okay, so now we're at the point in our design process where we want to set up the drainage network. These are where we calculate and design the pipe sizes and evaluate the system for our particular desired storm event. As I mentioned earlier, drainage can handle multiple networks in a single project, and water can be shared from one network to another. In our case, we have a finished drainage design that will open up, and we'll evaluate that, design and evaluate that particular system. So back in my design file, at this point I'm looking at this drainage system that we've established so far. I want to switch to another design model inside this file. So I'm going to access the Models tool. I can do that from File, Models. There's a model called Drainage Network Design, and if I double click on it, we'll open up that model. And you can see that it's got a few more pipes set up and drainage areas set up. This is a system that we're going to evaluate. So it's just a completed parking system of our parking lot and entrance road. I'm going to go ahead and open up drainage again, civil drainage, and this time I'm going to open up a project called Drainage Network Design, which again has all the necessary inlets, areas, pipes for our completed project. So just to show you real quick, first we go to the project preferences, my project components, my drainage library should be pointing to the correct one. If it's not, I'll just reset it real quick to my site standards folder. And my cell library the same. My rainfall will be again zone 1. Land use, same, private. So all these options are the same as before. If I go to my utilities and navigator, you can see that there's several drainage areas in here and several nodes. So I want to create a network of all the drainage structures in the pipes. So under drainage, we have, under the component option, we have network. This is where I would add a network. Now, the definition of a network is basically a series of drainage areas that drain to their respective drainage inlets. Those inlets are connected up with drainage links, and they all flow to a single outlet structure. The network gets an ID for the project, and the outlet node is selected. In my case, I have one outlet structure, and it's called outlet. I'll click OK, and my network configuration dialog will come up. And basically, the first thing we want to do when we create a drainage network is kind of build the network. What this does is allow the drainage program to step through the system, starting at the outlet and working upstream, and find all the available nodes that are connected with pipes. In this case, it found 14 nodes, and they were connected with 13 pipes. So it found all my nodes and pipes, and it successfully built it. If for some reason a pipe wasn't connecting to a node, then that's where the system would stop. So it checks the connectivity. I can highlight the system to see everything that was picked up, and indeed everything was found. My outlet node is still there, and at this point I can design the system. It'll go through performing the hydraulic computations, and it'll present me with an information dialog letting me know that it's computed the hydraulics. There are some warnings in this case, and again it just tells me how many nodes and pipes I have in my system. I click OK, and it will bring up my warnings that it had. So in this case, I can review the warnings, and it says that I have a HGL blowout upstream of link SS5, and that again is my hydraulic grade line has failed the check of my minimum freeboard at a particular structure, so it's exceeded my minimum freeboard. My capacity for an inlet is exceeded, and I have an assigned bypass flow, and in my pipe SS4 my velocity is greater than I had desired it to be. And my velocity, again, I set that up in my link configuration dialog. So there's some issues that I can take a look at. Go ahead and close that and apply. Now if for some reason I want to come back and reevaluate the system, I simply have to come back and hit design. I don't need to go and rebuild the system unless I add a structure or remove a structure. But if I simply edit a node, then all I have to do is come back to this dialog and redesign. If I change a pipe, edit a pipe through the dialog, I simply come back here again and just redesign. The build is only there for if I'm going to remove or add additional structures and pipes. I could lock down everything at this point if I wanted to, and I could lock all the invert elevations as well. I'm going to close this for now and go back to the drainage pull down, and under the network I'm going to select and make the network I just created active. So drainage network active, and select tower as my active network. If I notice along the blue bar at the top of my application window, I can see network tower. And under drainage report, if I go to storm drain links report, I can see the link hydraulic computations, and I can go to drainage report link configuration and see those. I know there's some errors in my network calculations that still need to be addressed, but here I can see all the information in one location. I can see the pipe diameter, I can see the capacity, the slope, the velocity, the depths of water in the pipe, actual and uniform. I can also, if I want to modify a pipe, I can highlight it or double click on it, and it will bring up the link configuration dialog and make my necessary changes. So you can see here it's designed a 21-inch diameter pipe. Again, if I want a larger pipe, I simply uncheck design size and select the larger pipe. Other standard reports that are there are my drainage area reports and my drainage inlet reports, both for on-grade and SAG. And I can see there again in that dialog, for example, the on-grade, that I had bypass flow. How much was it? And it was unassigned. So Now that I have the network designed with a few errors, I want to make some changes to it. And maybe one thing that might help is for me to look at the system and profile. So we'll take on creating profile next.